I have to do you first? This is so interesting.
Well, I think that's a thing that you actually have to pour.
I love that we're caressing each
Maybe
other's
that's
hands.
like a thing in Japan. I don't know.
What, to touch people's hands while they pour?
No. To pour your glass. That's a sake thing, right?
Oh, no. Oh, so, today we're going to be drinking the Pierre Jouet, which is actually one of my favorite. If you can get it really expensive, it's about $150. This is about $45 a bottle. And to me, it's celebration.
Wait, $45? I thought it was more expensive than that.
No, it's actually cheaper than the Veuve, which I like this a lot better. And Molly and I used to be huge Veuve people, but this to me is a little bit less expensive. And it's a little cleaner, so you're going to get that crispness with it.
And it's not as trendy. I feel like every homeless man in LA drinks Veuve now.
That is true. It's not as trendy. I mean, it's going to have your classic cherry notes, apricot. They even said there's some ginger in there. I don't really get it. But it has a really nice balance to it. But it's really refreshing. And sometimes when I feel like we have this Veuve bucket out here, so I got to talk about it. Veuve is just a little bit heavier, so it's not as light. You can't drink it with everything, whereas this, you can be drinking it with everything. I mean, they classify it as just drinking it, you know, with maybe doing your laundry. You know, maybe that's a good thing.
I mean, I'm definitely doing some laundry drinking.
Maybe I'm like, you know, I'm washing dishes and I'm like, fuck it. I want to drink some champagne.
I mean, I'm drinking pretty much when my kids are napping in bed while I watch E! News. Okay. Shout out to E! News. Daily.
I mean, I guess I just don't. I tried to get it on an app one time, and it just wanted video.
Everyone knows you're watching Harry Potter at home, you big nerd.
I love Harry Potter. Actually, it's on the side of my car. Some people might not notice it, but it's a triangle, a circle, and a line. And if you're not a Harry Potter fan,
nerd alert.
Okay, you know what? Harry Potter has been there for me for a lot of things. Good old-fashioned Harry.
Okay, we're not doing a Harry Potter video. What we're talking about today
is this good fun champagne.
Is brushes!
Oh my gosh, tools! We're a bunch of tool bags.
We love some tools, but not in men.
Oh, thank God. I felt like there was a long pause there, but it's kind of true.
I have known a lot of tool bags. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah. There's been a lot of tool bags. Yeah.
I've dated a lot of tool bags.
Yeah. I still feel like there's a lot out there. Well, fuck it.
Okay, anyway, let's talk about why brushes are so important. Because I feel like when I first started doing makeup, I actually use my fingers, and sometimes I still do use my fingers on myself. But on other people, as a makeup artist, you cannot use your fingers. Okay? Alright?
I don't feel like fingers are bad. I mean, there comes
it's
to
not
a point,
sanitary.
Sometimes you just gotta use your body, okay, to get that makeup looking right.
Sometimes I use my nose on people. Just kidding.
Hey, bro. Put it in there. No, tools are really important. We've been doing makeup for a long time. There always comes to a point where people are like, do I really need them? And honest to God, you do.
Yes, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to blend that shadow. You're not gonna get a smoky eye. You're not going to get a contour, that's for damn sure.
Nope. I mean, here's the truth though. There's a reason why brushes are here, and they're a reason to assist you in getting the best look possible. But you can use the wrong brushes. But I still have this hard place inside of me. You have to use what brush works for you. And you do have to focus on what it's made of. So there are synthetic, there are natural hairs out there, real hairs out there. And there's a lot of times where synthetic hairs are really important because synthetic hairs aren't going to absorb any moisture. And those are a really good place for when you want to use like liquid foundations, products like that are more on that liquid side. And then when you come to the natural hairs, they're not going to absorb that liquid side. You can still use them, but you're gonna have to do a lot more cleaning. So natural hairs are there for the powders. But then you kind of have those dual fibered brushes, and this is where the money comes into it. They're kind of like your money thing. I can use these with liquid, and I can use them with powder. I have to clean them a little bit more in between, but I've got a dual fibered brush where I can use it back and forth. So it is important to know where the hair is coming from, because I love it when they're like, it's real hair. That doesn't mean fucking shit, okay? Because when that hair touches your skin and it hurts, that means that it came from
what if they're selling you pube hair?
Okay, that could be selling you pubic hair. But it's important to know, because when that hair is super coarse, it means that that animal's been shaved so many times and you're getting basically an old ass animal, okay? And when it's super soft and fine, it means that animal's only been shaved 1 or 2 times in order to get that hair, that's that soft. And I think that's where it comes into being more expensive or cheaper brushes. Even those synthetic fibers, what are those synthetic fibers made of? I mean, there's people out there that are allergic to so many things. What is that synthetic fiber made of? I mean, there's a reason why things are cheaper and there's a reason why things are more expensive. I mean, you're talking just a better product in general. And I'm a big firm believer in brushes. I've been doing makeup 15 years, which I've had some brushes. 15 years, which I've had some brushes. Thank you. You're skissed. But I've had those brushes for like 15 years and I still love them. They look a little shoddy, but I still got them, bitch. Okay. So, I mean, I just went off on a tangent because I feel very passionate.
Tangent alert! Tangent alert! Start with my brushes.
Okay, you do it.
So whenever I'm putting on my foundation, and Megan and I were in New Orleans and we splurged and
this is the brush
I love this one because I'm always looking for a really good.
By the way, we hunted for this for like 20 minutes. I was really pissed off.
Well, I fought back and forth with it because I just didn't know, but it's the Marc Jacobs. I don't even think it's their foundation brush. It's the shape brush, number 15. But I've looked at it online 1,000 times, and I like a dense brush for foundation. And I go back and forth. I did like the brush, like what are those like artesian brushes for foundation? I don't know. I'm kind of drunk, so I'm not saying a lot of things right. But anyways, so I wanted this brush, so I decided to go ahead and buy it. And I like it because I like full coverage, and I don't like to waste a lot of product. It's short, it's dense, so I can wash the product out.
That's what she
if it was
said.
tall and dense, which would, it actually wouldn't be dense if it was tall. I'm not very articulate. Anyways, so Marc Jacobs, the shape number 15. I love to use this for foundation shut up. Okay. I like to use this for contouring too. So I'll do my foundation, and then I'll do contouring. Not for my nose. This is too big for your nose, unless you have like the nose the size of like a building, and you like really have to go in there.
I mean, are they?
No. Anyways, so
no, we hunted for this because you wanted something that fit in your makeup bag though too, and she was like, I wanted to fit.
Oh yeah, because I love the Kat Von D foundation, like the Kat Von D brush. But it literally is like this long, and it's like a jagged knife on the end of it. I was like, I can't fucking travel with that shit.
What is that like scrubber that you put in the sink? That's what it was like.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so there's that one. And then
clean dishes with it too, if you would have gotten it.
For like a highlighter, for a nose contour, for
ooh, I do like this brush. Yes, I'm really excited that you picked
like
this.
even using it for powder underneath my eye. I love the Cosette brush. I think
they are great.
It's kind of hard, like it says S140, and I apologize to Cosette because I'm not really sure how they market their brushes, like how they label them. But it says Cosette S140, and we found this when we were this was a couple of years ago when we were at the makeup show in New York.
Yeah, which is amazing. If you've never been to it, you should go to it.
The Cosette brushes are great.
Well, I like this brush too because it takes away from the fan brush that you'll see like on this is my hand, this is the fan brush. And you're used to dusting things away. And sometimes you always feel like they're too big, and this brush literally is compact. It's actually, you see that it has like a lot of give to it. So to dust away things.
I like how you've taken this over.
No, I know, it's okay. But I do love it. We bought 2 of them though, and I used it too.
I know, and I actually have both of them because I stole yours because I actually have to have 2 at all times.
Okay, that's where my next, because I was like, I used it before, but now I know what is at your house, so thank you. Because now I've recently found it.
I don't like a hard nose contour, so I use it for nose contour, and I also use it for highlighter, and I also use it for under eye setting, so I need 2.
But the thing about it is it's not dense. It's not dense. And which is great. So you can do a lot of things with it.
Brushes that
I don't doubt that at all.
But you have a lot of my clothes, so.
No, I really don't. You act like I have this closet full of clothes. Do I wear any of them all the time? Do you see me walking around with your clothes? No, because I don't have them.
I guarantee you if I went in your closet, I would find some clothes.
Okay, you know what? Come on over, hooker.
Alright, so next brush that I love.
Ooh. Oh, I'm actually.
Next brush that I love. I feel like a lot of people like this one. This is the MAC 215.
Stiff shit.
It is so good for packing it in the inner eye.
Get it in there.
or on your brow bone to really give you a nice highlight.
Yeah.
What else would you use this for?
I think
a nose contour?
that,
If you like a hard contour. Okay? If you like a hard contour?
Well, this would be really good. This is one of those things where this is natural, so this is real hairs, but it's stiffer, so it's not, and it's shorter, so you're going to be able to do something with cream with it, and it's going to sit right on the tip of it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with this. I mean, people always think, what should I use this brush for? Or Sylvia Louise used this brush for this. Just because she used it for that doesn't mean you have to use it for the same thing. You can use it for whatever you want.
Whatever you want, yeah.
This is one of those brushes that really could just go wherever you want it to go.
Yeah, I love
like
it.
the beach, or you know, like a vacation.
It could take you out on a nice date sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't have a man at home, a brush is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last brush.
You're gonna do 4?
My last brush. I don't even know. I'm not keeping track at this point. But I have to do this brush. I think I just couldn't choose. And I know we both had this brush. I think I also stole yours. But it's the MAC 263. People are always like, I can't do a cat eyeliner. I can't do like a winged eye. I've even heard makeup artists say this, and I'm like, how the hell can you consider yourself a makeup artist if you cannot do a winged eye?
When they don't have the proper tools. Or
This is going to be your best friend, because I will tell you, just to go ahead and like freehand a winged eye, you have to like really know what the hell you're doing. Even I am like, no, I'm going to go ahead and go with my brush. Like, right?
Makes sense.
It's true.
No, it makes sense. That's what I was saying. Like, no. This is your go-to brush. Sometimes you just can't spend the time with the actual brush that they've given you, and you have to go to.
Well, no, a lot of liners don't come with a brush though. Like liquid liners,
No,
you
they
buy a
don't.
liquid liner and you're like, I'm gonna use this, and you just do like a little line, and it looks like scraggly, you know?
Well, also what it comes to when you're using a brush that comes with a liquid liner brush is it's saturated with product. So it's going to take a lot longer to dry. So by using your own brush, you're taking out that dry time, and you're pulling almost the product off of it and placing it on, and you're really giving it that moment just from off of that brush onto the eye.
Basically, you just put a little bit of liquid liner on your eyelid.
Well, you've taken 30
Let me talk! Put a little liquid liner on your eyelid, and then you take the brush and you just kind of glide it and take the product out a little bit. It's a lot easier to control. Jesus, I mean, literally, wasn't it that easy?
I mean, it was, but I feel like I have a lot of good tips and tricks.
You
for that.
do, but you go on and on forever.
Yeah, because I know a little bit of something about something. So anyways, you had your fucking time with your brushes. Now I got my shit.
All right, it's your turn.
So I'm gonna pull out my 3 brushes. And I'm also gonna pull out some products too that I feel like everybody needs.
No, we're not doing our product video.
No, you have to do 4. This is all about brushes. This is about a brush cleaner, and this is my tip and trick that I use. So yes, I love these 3 brushes. I love one from Gazette, and I love the way that it's poofy. Comes to a beep, beep, beep point, just like your nipple. I like to use this for blending out. Like, this is the perfect for a smoky eye. You know why? Because it fits right in that fucking crease, okay? And you're like, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. You don't even need to fucking worry about it going all over the place, because it's gonna grab it, it's gonna lock it up, and it's gonna do it, okay? So then I got this brush. And this is by Gazette.
Oh, Gazette!
And this is another Gazette brush. I really feel like these people get a bad rap. And honestly, the only reason why I say that is because they're a small business, and I'm not the hugest fan of...
I've never heard anything bad about that.
I haven't heard anything bad about them. I'm not the hugest fan of the pictures they pull out from their company, because they're an artistic company with artsy-fartsy brushes. And I wish they were a little bit more editorial, but I think they're an amazing company, and I think we met them when we were at the makeup show, and they're epically nice.
They're super nice people. I think
their brushes are on point, and I love that it comes to this.
The Senna pictures.
No, but it makes me feel like I'm kind of a painter, because technically I kind of am.
They do look like paintbrushes, but I like. I think that's cool.
No, I feel like the hairs.
And you have to order these online.
The hairs. Okay, it's a great brush. Use it for if you want a smoky eye. That's the tips.
Yeah, and if you want to contour the inside of your nose.
Let me talk. Yeah, it's not so hot, is it?
Beep, beep.
So I love pulling these out, because I'm going to talk about the front of these, and I'm going to talk about the back of them. So I love this one because this is what your perfect example of a foundation brush is. It's a synthetic fiber, and notice how it bends. This is what I want to see in a synthetic brush. They're not really stiff. They've got some give to them. So when you're purchasing any kind of synthetic brush, especially for a foundation, you want to make sure that when you're placing it onto the skin, that it's got some kind of, or I should say, not so much of a pull with it. You can see the bend in it, and it's really going to form and function with your face and almost warm up to that foundation that's on it. So I love this one. I think it's great. It's not too big. It's not too little. That's what she said. So the back of it, beep, beep.
You are so smart. Do you know that is like the cutest thing ever?
I love my brushes. So I love this back. You see how it's angled like this? And I think this is so perfect. And what you wouldn't know about these brushes is, and maybe what they don't know about them, but I always think of it as a way to flick things away or to kind of create a line if you need to, which I love that, because necessarily with this point, it's just pretty and it's kind of rounded.
But
and
it's not super long.
It's not, and this is a short handle, but I look at this and I sometimes, and you might not always think of this with a brush, but it's also to roll away any oil or anything like that that you can do with your skin, and it's wooden. But I love this angle because there's points where you need to like kind of flick things away, or even applying lashes, you can literally pop them right on. So this
I never thought about that.
Yeah, so it's really got this great tip to it that I adore. I think that they're looking at it as a place, or if you, whatever the fuck else you want to do with it, whatever. But I think when people look at concealer, and I was always raised in the way with concealer, you've got to get really close up to the eye. And there's areas with pores and places that you need to get in that are smaller. And this is the perfect concealer brush. What is this? It doesn't have a number. Oh, it does. It's a 236. So, as a concealer brush,
I want to be able to get a monocle to find the numbers on some of these brushes. You're like,
yeah. Or you're like, hello?
Hey, look at how magnifying
it is a monocle. It's like,
what it is.
I would like to inspect this. So, but this brush is great for it. Again, this is synthetic, but these fibers are so thin, so this is so perfect. So you can get really close up to the eye area. It even gets really close in there. Or if you're the type of person that likes to do their eye makeup first, but you've missed spots to conceal, this is a place to go in and get underneath those areas, also around the nose and into those pore areas that when people do their foundation and concealer, their pores are left. And this is a place to go in when you still have time that's not sitting down with your actual foundation concealer. You can go and buff them out. It's a great highlighter. There's so many uses for something small. I wouldn't necessarily use this on the eye area, but again, use it for what you want and take it to a place where you feel comfortable with it. But I loved it for concealer. Synthetic and everything. It's not going to absorb. You've got more uses on it. But I think a really good, a lot of people ask about how to clean their brushes, what to do. You really should be cleaning your brushes if you're using them every single day. Probably
once a year.
No. I would say honestly once a week. And what people notice is when they clean their brushes that their brushes are starting to work better. And it's one of those things you just get so into the day-to-day life that you forget to clean your brushes. And when people are breaking out and you're having all these things happen with your skin, it's really just because there's bacteria that builds up on this. You think of those fucking sponges that you bring in your bathroom and the water sits on them? The same thing happens with your makeup brushes. There is bacteria that builds up in these things. We need to clean them. We need to take care of them. You want brushes for a long time. You need to treat them like a wee little baby. But maybe not necessarily so much, because I would probably clean my baby like once every, a lot.
I think I clean my brushes better than I clean my babies.
I mean, I hope not. Okay. But I would say once a week minimum.
Bitch, your brushes are dirty.
I mean, that's actually not that dirty.
It's okay, mine are dirty too because I use them on myself.
So I really like, for us, it's really great at our shop. The Cinema Secrets is great. One thing to look in for your brush cleaner, there's no oil residue on it. And the last thing you ever want to have, there's a lot of makeup brush cleaners out there that suck ass. And when you clean them and you notice this like shine on your brushes, and that's the oil in it. You know what I mean? So, but what oil does, which you don't know, oil breaks up anything waterproof. So sometimes it is necessary to have that oil in it because it breaks through all the makeup and shit that you've got on it. But if you're cleaning your brushes enough, the oil isn't necessarily necessary. Is that right? So this is really great. This is something that's a high-use makeup brush cleaner. One of my really good tips and tricks for cleaning brushes when we're working in a high-paced area and we're having to clean our brushes after each use, because we do, is to go ahead and use your Cinema Secrets or whatever brush cleaner you choose. That should be good. Is to clean it with this, and I love to use my setting powder. So I will clean my makeup brushes, and then I literally just pour my setting powder in it, and it actually dries out all your bristles, and you can instantly use it back on somebody again because it absorbs everything. So you
gotta love her.
You instantly go back to ground one, and you're back again, because you cannot use brushes after first cleaning them because they're wet, and it just, then you're getting your product wet and you're getting all this other shit wet. So I always go back to my setting powder, dries it up, I dust it off, and I'm literally back to square one.
Hello, why we're friends, because you are full of knowledge.
I mean, I really do. It's really important to me to have brushes that I love, and to invest in brushes, you are gonna invest in your life and your soul.
Yes.
And
brushes
friendship, because friends hate friends that have crappy brushes.
See ya, bitches. Cheers.
You know the girls